And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Thursday, August 25th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thursday morning it is, and we welcome you to our program. We are on the air for Bates Ford, 1673 West Main in Lebanon, the dealer that'll trade for anything you don't eat. And on Thursdays, we usually have Paul Tubbs and Ronnie Kelly, and today is no exception. So let me say good morning to both of you gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Paul, how are you?
Doing great.
You've been watching the Little League World Series.
I have. No,
Our favorites from Nolensville took a whooping.
that Hawaii team's pretty tough. I think they gave up one run the whole tournament, so it's going to be tough. They're pretty strong.
Well, what's on your mind, Ronnie, besides selling cars? Anything?
Well, selling cars is on my mind, and one good thing on my mind, I know it's great. You know, the weather's great in August right now. It's real cool. I know September's coming up, and I know people are getting ready to put those boat skis up, their boats, and all the motorcycles. So if you don't want to put it up and you want to turn it into cash, bring it down to Bates Ford.
That's right. You'll trade for anything you don't eat, and you've been doing this for a long time. But here lately, with the value of used cars increasing, you've probably done more of that, and almost of necessity too.
Yeah, and one thing we've done a real good job is we've bought a lot of vehicles where people had something that they weren't driving. Several people brought us vehicles if they had a third or an extra vehicle and they wanted to turn it into cash. Or if people, sometimes they had negative equity back in before the vehicles got a little bit higher. So then they say, hey, I can get out of this vehicle and it's something So one of the things we always tell everybody is if, you get tax savings if you trade. So we prefer you to trade, but we'll buy them all day long. We've probably bought hundreds of cars through this whole time where there was microchip shortage and stuff like that. And people will bring us a car, we'll run around the block, make sure everything works correctly, and then come right there and give you a cash offer on the spot.
Well, whatever works. I mean, you're pretty flexible on that in dealing with somebody.
No, no doubt. We just, we're easy to deal with. We'll give you an opportunity. Here's what it is. If you want to do it, great. If you don't, hey, we can still be friends and move on.
Well, you got any great one for us today, Ron?
Yeah, we had one yesterday. We was trading for one, and Brother Paul let me down yesterday.
Oh.
He wouldn't test drive it. We had a motorcycle we traded for. A guy came in and said that he said, I'm getting a little old right now. Can't get it on that thing right, so I want to try to trade this motorcycle for a truck. And Mike, he looked at it, and I looked at it. I said, well, I know I can't drive it. but we made the deal work. I mean, they went in and talked, made some calls, and made everything work out. So he just said he just didn't need that motorcycle anymore. So
that motorcycle's for sale now?
Yeah, I left my helmet at home. I wasn't allowed to ride it. I can only drive a golf cart and motorcycles. I don't have much joy in riding one of them. I need four wheels and some clubs to go.
Yeah, right. Well, what about your new location? Any an update on that maybe?
Yeah, we're moving right along. We found there was a couple of houses we had to get moved. We've got that deal done. We've moving dirt. There was a lot of rock over there. I went over there. I was like, my gosh, but they got the equipment in there. And
it's Wilson County.
Yeah, it is, and it's right on that interstate. And, one thing several people I've told, and I've never really said it on the radio, one of the things that I really think is going to be neat is that dealership's going to have a double front where when you look at it from the interstate and you're passing, you're going to see a big Ford dealership where, you're just not looking at a bunch of cars. And then when you pull in from Franklin Road, you're also going to see a front with the parking's all. I designed it with Heath and everybody where the parking's on the side, and I kind of like that idea where you look at it and it looks professional when you drive by it, and also when you pull in from Franklin Road, you're going to see a front of a Ford dealer.
Would the official address be Franklin Road something? Right.
It is, and I don't know that because there was 3 properties and they're turning it into one, so I can't give the exact address. But as soon as you turn on Franklin Road, I mean, it's like maybe a half mile on the right. Mm-hmm. When you start to get off the exit right there at Hartman Drive, if you look directly to your right, that's it. It'll overlook the interstate, and I think it's going to be a blessing. And Tony and myself are really happy.
Well, we're going to be talking about that for quite a while. It's not a reality yet. It's just getting started, really.
Yeah, and we had a little groundbreaking. Well, you know, Tony didn't want to do a per se shovels in the ground. Ronnie and myself and several people that helped us along the way went over, and we just had a little bless the land thing, and it was pretty neat. So, you know, we're really excited.
Okay, we got time to mention your oil change, cheapest in town, up to 5 quarts for.
Right now, we're $34.95. Oil's like everything else; it's going crazy. But we're still trying to keep it as competitive and cheap as possible. It's still $34.95 for a 5-quart oil change. You can't beat that. And you know, like I always say, we don't just change your oil. We'll look the vehicle over. We'll give you any inspection. We'll give you a copy of the inspection sheet. We check your brakes, batteries, hoses. If you need a battery, we'll meet or beat on batteries. Our batteries are $134.95. We put them in for free on most vehicles. They come with a 3-year unlimited mileage warranty. Tires, and I almost messed up there, we'll meet or beat anybody's price on tires. So if you need tires, come down to Bates Ford. We'll be glad to serve you.
Well, all of this going for you, and Ronnie Kelly, of course, who's been in sales for at least 35 years right here at this location, and you want all your friends to keep that in mind.
Yes, keep that in mind and continue to come down to Bates Ford and meet our friendly staff, and we'll put you in a vehicle.
All right. Y'all have a great week, and we'll do it again next Thursday.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. 10 minutes after the hour, and this morning I have, it's my pleasure to have as my guest from the city of Lebanon, the fairly new Fire Chief, Jason Baird. Jason is live in studio with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It is nice to have you here, and congratulations on being chosen Fire Chief to replace Chris Dow, which happened, 2 or 3 months ago now?
Yes, sir.
No, exactly. But you remember the official day
I started in April.
Has it been that long?
Yep.
Okay.
It's
All
been
right.
quick.
Well, we have you here today, and hopefully you're going to be one of our regulars, coming from time to time to let us know what's going on with Lebanon Fire Department and keeping us up to date in that regard. But today, I want to find out a little bit about you. I think, Kevin, you lived here in Lebanon and Wilson County all your life.
I have. My family has. My family owned a fence company in this community for as long as I've been old enough to hold a pair of pliers in my hands. And so we've been, my whole family, both sides of my family have been in this community. So it's a blessing to be able to work in the community that I live in. And so it's.
You go to Lebanon High School?
I did, class of 1987.
87.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I believe you were 1 year ahead of my oldest son. Clark graduated in 88.
Yep.
So, okay.
Yep.
Time flies.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. That's what I tell my guys now. You know, they're talking about, you know, the old guys talk about the good old days, and I tell my young guys, you are living the good old days right now. Enjoy it.
What got you to the Lebanon Fire Department?
I worked in high school. I worked through the co-op program, and I actually worked at Wilson County Farmers Co-op. And I loaded trucks with feed, and I had a farmer there that worked as a firefighter too. And he asked me one day, he said, "You ever thought about being a fireman?" And I said, "No, sir." And so I didn't give it a lot of thought. He talked to me for a few minutes, and then I ended up killing a deer. And our old Station 2 on Hartman Drive used to be a deer checking station. So I went in there, checked the deer, and just so happened he was working that same day, and he talked me into it, and here I am. And I went back to co-op and said, I'm getting my 2 weeks, and here I am, back in February 20th, 1989. So, been here a long time.
Well, you weren't, I guess you weren't so sure about it. You hadn't really thought about being a fireman or being at the fire department or whatever, but he must have done a pretty good selling job with you.
He did. I knew, actually, back then, a lot of farmers worked at Lebanon Fire Department. And so I would see them at co-op, and I would talk to a lot of the guys there. And I knew and I respected all those men. I knew how hard they worked trying to make a living. And when I got to thinking about it and seeing all the people that were involved in it, I thought this might be the thing that I need to be doing. And I just figured I'd be a fencer my entire life, because that's what my family did. And But I ended up at the fire department, and it's the best thing that probably it's ever happened to me.
When you began then full time, I guess it was probably like it is now. You work 24 and off 48, so 1 out of 3 days you're there for 24 hours. And was that hard to adjust to?
It is. It is tough to adjust to. Which back then, our call volume isn't what it's like now. And honestly, our pay rates were not where you had a choice whether or not you had to work 2 jobs. You had to. Now our pay rate is at a place where these young firefighters can make a decision if they want to work 2 jobs or not. So we're very thankful for that. But yeah, working 2 jobs, especially if you was up all night, and they're up all night now. Our call volume has got to that point.
Okay, it's time for us to take a break. Jason Baird, Fire Chief for the City of Lebanon, is my guest, and this is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's 7:14. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford and that regular oil change, $34.95 up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, $16.73. West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. A lot going on. They're still working that wreck on that off-ramp as you come off I-24 onto Briley Parkway there south of town. People are still staring at that crash. Again, that's 24 westbound off-ramp there at Briley. It's very slow here on Ellington Parkway, trying to get down the bottom here due to a crash. Again, before you get to Spring Street on Ellington Parkway, yes, it's pretty saturated right now on 65 south there at Trinity Lane. Heavy, but it's moving over here in Hermitage. Starting to slow down at times, it seems like here by Stewartsbury Pike on 40 going westbound. You got all that traffic coming in from Wilson County. Hey, with a huge demand for dental assistants, Dental Staff School will train you, help you get a job. Google Dental Staff School. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
There's a reason why more home buyers and sellers trust A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction to get the job done. A.G. & Johnson offers what you want: more knowledge, more personal attention, more convenience. When you love what you do, it shows. That's why we have been voted the best of Wilson County by you, our clients. Discover the A.G. & Johnson difference. We are trusted by your neighbors for a reason. Call 615-444-0909 or visit us online today, agandjohnson.com, your community trusted realty and auction company.
The preseason comes to a close this Saturday night as the Titans host the Arizona Cardinals. The award-winning Titans countdown happens at 5. Then Mike Keith, the voice of the Titans, and Coach Dave McGinnis call every snap of Titans and Cardinals with a kickoff at 6.
Brought to you by Fakes and Hooker, Bates Ford, Steve Mull Plumbing, The Jewelers, and the City of Lebanon Gas in Tennessee. 811, call before you dig.
Catch every game on Real Country, WCOR, Lebanon.
Contact Stephen Lowry Land Clearing for all your land clearing needs. Whether it's clearing trails for ATVs, reclaiming pasture, or clearing your land of brush and trees, Stephen Lowry can get the job done. He works closely with customers, adjusting to make changes as you want. Steve Lowry will give you quality work at a price that you can afford. He will also beat any written estimate. Call Stephen Lowry at 615-970-8154 for all your land clearing needs. That's Stephen Lowry Land Clearing, 615-970-8154.
And we continue here on this Thursday morning. If you just joined us, we welcome you. Jason Baird is with us. Jason Baird is the relatively new Lebanon Fire Chief. And what has it been like? I mean, you've been there for a long time. Most of your adult life, you have been to Lebanon Fire Department, but you worked your way up. You're now chief, and you knew what it was like. Has it been anything really difficult about becoming the chief and responsible for all these guys?
I think you have to compartmentalize. You have to find the places where you're happy and spend a lot of time there, because we are a government entity. I teach in orientation that our new recruits have to be patient. That's the biggest thing about being in this type job is government moves so slow. And but yeah, it's challenging at times, and that's what's good. That the fire department has like 10, 15 jobs within it. You can choose whatever your niche is, your skill set you want to build. You can be a You can be really good in extrication, rope rescue, trench rescue, swift water rescue, all these avenues you can go in to be when you want to be a firefighter at the City of Lebanon. And so we get a little bit of all types of personality. We're still getting that blue collar type kid to apply. And so the template is still there for us. It works really great. And it's this side, the chief side now with me, kind of in the politics side of it now, where I haven't been so much. Chief Dow was fantastic in that perspective, and he kept all that, kind of with him. And so I was able to do operations and day-to-day maintenance, all those type things. And so now I'm in the other side of it. So, but it's not been a bad transition, honestly. It's been pretty smooth and very thankful. We've got a great council right now, and our mayor's working with us really, really well. And so it's just a matter now of just learning where I'm supposed to be at what time and all those type things.
Well, in talking to Chris many times when he was out here, probably more off the air than on the air, he always had high praise for you, and you did a lot of the things that he didn't have to do so that he could do that. Now, I'm just wondering, have you got a new Jason back? You had somebody to do what you were doing?
I do. I didn't step away from operations. I still run day-to-day operations. I do manage the budget. Where our budget now is, we're right around about a $10 million budget. So that's consuming in itself. But Assistant Chief Nick McCorkle is now running. Honestly, if you think about the fire department, we run 4 fire stations and an administrative building. We have 5 buildings. We have 4 frontline apparatus and then 2 reserve apparatus, a ladder truck. And so there's a ton of maintenance. And then just daily, our social outreach, our community things, he coordinates all those things and then just kind of plugs the gaps everywhere. So he's extremely busy, just like I am.
Well, I think you got a lot busier. It used to be that about all you did at the fire department was fight fires. I mean, you didn't go to wrecks on the highway and this sort of thing. And that changed a few years ago. And I think it's changed the whole purpose even for the fire department.
It completely has. It's changed every aspect. It's changed the type of employee we hire. It's changed as far as our daily routine and how we schedule things, as far as a yearly perspective, as far as when we do our in-service training and all those type things. It's at times it's challenging. Honestly, you have to be creative because we stretch things pretty thin at times. Like now during the time of the fair, we're stretched pretty thin, but so far it's been really smooth. Probably one of the better years we've had. We have no rain out dates. We have none of that confusion, and I've been able to staff the arena with our personnel, and then we have a fire card at the fair too that we staff with 2 personnel, and so everything. It's a challenge to stay on top of everything because I have a lot of mandates and policies and things that I have to do yearly that I'm responsible for too. So yeah, it's been that part's tough.
And then every once in a while you have to have, there's some mandatory training and this sort of thing to stay up to date with the latest way to do things, and rules and regulations change. All of that, somebody's got to have their finger on that and make sure everybody's aware.
Yes, sir. Compliance is one of the biggest things that I deal with too. It's hard at times to stay on top of that. It does change. I will say that our department, through my career, the city has always been good to us, and we've always had the best equipment we can buy, the best gear you can buy. And as I come up through the ranks, I always wanted to make sure that I worked for a chief that loved me, cared about me, and loved the fire service, and that is continuing on now today. So we have our department's really like a big family. Honestly, it's unlike anything that you could ever imagine until you get inside of it. So they're really, really close, really, really tight, and they work really, really hard. Take a lot of pride.
Well, we talk about that G word, growth, all the time, and if you don't, you can get behind really quick, and it's harder to play catch up than it is to stay with the growth as much as possible. How do you think you've done there, and what's it look like? I mean, I don't think the growth is it may slow down a little, but we still got it, and people are wanting to live in Middle Tennessee, and especially Wilson County.
Yes, sir. It's all about the level of service that the city wants to provide. We've been blessed from the perspective that the city chooses to have a really high level of service in the fire protection and that perspective as far as emergency services. And when that happens, it allows our employees to be successful. So it keeps a happy workforce. And so it's just to put it in perspective, when I hired in, we sold a fire engine. Used to the life of a fire engine was 20 years. And we sold a fire engine that had 20,000 miles on it. I've got a fire engine right now that is 5 years old and it's got 70-something thousand miles on it. So it's that's how much our call volume and things have changed. So it's extremely busy. It's tiring, and it takes its toll. We didn't, some things that we didn't used to have as much of. Workman's comp claims, we now have, one of them kind of going all the time of some sort, whether it's a knee, a back, or something like that. But the growth has been difficult. And as long as the city council and the mayor keeps at least staying up with the growth, we'll be fine. When we fall behind is when we get in trouble. And as long as they keep asking, as long as we keep asking for new staff and they provide it, in which they have done to this point, then we're able to manage the growth pretty well.
One of the things that, I'll be honest, it troubles me a little bit when I see so many apartments being built and people living so compact as far as space is concerned. And I think if a fire should happen there, that's got to be a concern of you. I mean, if you've got one building out here, one home that's kind of isolated and catches fire, you hopefully can put it out. Probably going to be a lot of damage unless you get there early. But you're talking about one family. You got one of these big apartment complexes. There's multiple living units there. And I know you're concerned about it, but address that a little.
What we do in those type of areas where we have a lot of townhomes and apartment houses like that, we completely change that fire engine that's in that district. We go to it, we go look at it, see how far our water source is from where we'd be fighting the fire, and we set up that engine for that strategy as far as setting up that particular townhouse or that complex or whatever it is, what it may be. So it completely changes everything we do. And so we pretty much, when we see them go up, we go in pre-plan, and then we set our engines up to do the best we can in those settings. It is tough. It is when these houses, go down and 3 goes back up. At times, it becomes challenging. But we've got a plan in place, and we quickly go and pre-plan those places and get a plan of action that we're going to take care of, and it'll be successful. We've had a couple fires as of late. It's not been in those facilities. It's been a couple of 2-story homes and things like that we've had in the last couple weeks, and so we've been pretty busy with that aspect.
I'm looking at a July 27th news release from Mayor Bell. And let me get my glasses on here so I read it correctly. It says Lebanon rated in the top 5% in fire protection across Tennessee. The City of Lebanon's Insurance Services Office ISO rating has improved from a Class 3 to Class 2/2X, according to a letter from the Insurance Services Office. This rating provides a benchmark to help fire departments, other public officials measure the effectiveness of their efforts and plan for improvement. That's a big plus right there, isn't it?
It really is. To have an outside entity come in that they don't gain anything. They're just an entity that exists for insurance companies to be able to buy into. And they compare data and all those type things. They have no bias, and they grade you on water source, on equipment, on staffing, on communications, on training. They grade you on all those things. The best score you can get is a 1, and we're at a 2. And honestly, the best thing we can ask for is the opportunity from the perspective of that control would be in your hands to be able to get a 1. And that control is in our hands. Our water supply in the city of Lebanon is that good. Our staffing is getting better. And our equipment is really good. And our response times, that's a big deal for us too, is our response times. Our goal is to be anywhere in the city within 4 minutes. We achieve it a lot. But we don't achieve it every time. But in an average perspective, we do achieve it. But that was a really big deal for us. It was exciting. That too happened under Chris Dow was chief at that time when it happened, and he had a lot of to do with that aspect too. We worked together, and they come in, and I'll be honest with you, they completely rake you over the coals. They really look at everything, and they go 3 years back. They go data from 3 years, and then they comparatively, and then you wait for like 6 months. So That is a long 6 months waiting for that result to come back, but we are very, very, very proud. One of 36 departments right now.
Well, once again, Lebanon rated in the top 5% in fire protection across Tennessee, something we can all be very appreciative, very thankful for. And I hope it stays that way or it gets even better. But the ISO rating does have to do with the amount of the cost of fire insurance for your home. And so the better that is, hopefully the less that insurance is going to cost you.
That's exactly right.
We got about a minute left here, Jason. Anything? I know what I was going to ask you. What you have a heavy load. I mean, a lot of us do. But what do you do for recreation? For downtime or to get away from it all for a few minutes?
I am a big time deer hunter. I love college football. Tennessee fan. Go ahead and get that out there. But I'm a big time deer hunter. Love to deer hunt. That's my thing. And it's you think deer hunt is just in the fall, but it's actually year round in preparation for it. So that's my getaway. That's my happy place.
All right. Well, we found out quite a bit about you this morning, and I found out that I'll be honest, you have impressed me tremendously with the knowledge that you have and the way you can talk about everything about the fire department and what you do and how you do all these things. And I certainly feel like we're in good hands. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Coleman.
All right. Jason Baird, our fire chief for the city of Lebanon, and that's part one of Coleman and Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more FM 98.9.
All right. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. 7:29 now. And this update on traffic, let's thank our friends at Absolute Kubota. They have Exmark, large inventory of Exmark mowers for homeowners and commercial users. #1 selling brand, bought 2-to-1 over any other commercial mower brand. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still, our biggest delay is south of Nashville. Down in Williamson County as they clean up a pretty bad wreck that happened earlier on 65 northbound. It's got it slow north and south on 65 near 840 in the Spring Hill area. Thompson Station, again, 65 north and south. Still struggling down there around 840. Allow yourself extra time. They're still working that wreck 24 westbound off-ramp at Briley Parkway south of town. Ripley's is hiring. Check them out online at ripleys.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on-time traffic.
And now, a moment of silence to remember our dear friend.
Sorry. Oh, man. Life can be uncomfortable. Your home doesn't have to be. With a wide range of air conditioners, furnaces, and heat pumps, Rheem makes it easy to feel comfortable, even when you can't be comfortable.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Cumberland University football kicks off the 2022 regular season this Saturday, August 27th, as the Phoenix host Point University at Noakes Lassiter Field. This is Christian Capozio of the Cumberland Sports Network. Join Bob Lee and myself this Saturday right here on WANT for play-by-play coverage of Cumberland football. Pre-game coverage begins at 5:30, leading up to a 6 o'clock kickoff. The Point Skyhawks meet the Cumberland Phoenix this Saturday at 6 p.m. right here on WANT.
A warm day heading our way with just a few clouds outside. Look for a high of 88 with a touch of that summer humidity. We'll dip down to right around 70 degrees overnight and head back to 88 for Friday. High of 90 coming for the weekend. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm #1 Ned.
And we continue here on a Thursday morning. Welcome to part 2 of Coleman and Company. I've got Jay White. I've got Helen Cash here to talk about A.G. and Johnson Realty and Auction. Jay, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Good to see you again. Everything going well?
It is. We're knee deep in auctions, just like always.
Oh, Helen Cash, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
You're taking in the fair a little bit, aren't you?
Oh, just a little bit. It's fair time. Hey, look.
All right. Well,
Can we hear me now?
Sometimes I forget to turn the knob up.
Oh, no, I speak loud enough they can hear me no matter what.
Not according to the way MJ's waving her arm.
Can you hear me now, MJ? Good job. Yes. We've been taking in the fair. We've been volunteering. We've been having fun. You know, we've invaded the fair a couple nights, you know. What can I say? It's fair time.
Jay, I think you might have done a little bit more to fair in the former times than you do today, but you're a busy guy.
Well, that's true. That's true. But I do enjoy the fair. I do miss being out there working. Like I don't put as much time in as I used to out there, but I do miss it and I enjoy it. I think it's a great thing for the community.
Well, you're putting in extra time now that you are the owner of A.G. and Johnson Realty and Auction.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Full-time job.
It is. It takes. It's better than a 40-hour week. I'll have to say that. It's better than a 40-hour week.
Oh, well, of course, they're located at 728 West Main in Lebanon. 444-0909 is that phone number. And we want to talk about your auction you've got for this Saturday, August 27th.
We do, Coleman. This Saturday morning, we're going to be down on 109. We're selling a beautiful log home down there. It sits on 10 acres. It's a two-story log home built back in the early 90s. It's just a beautiful setting with nice mature trees in the yard. It's got if you want some cattle or horses or any other kind of livestock, you've got plenty of land there to let that roam. It's got a pool. All the amenities are here. Outbuildings are here. If you're just looking for a nice home to raise a family, it would be a great place to be. And we just have lots of good personal property down there to sell. I mean, if you come, bring a chair, plan to stay all day with us if you can. And we've got great parking. In easy access to the house. So if you want to come, we got a place to park and a place for you to be, and it'll be shady. The weather's supposed to be great, but we're selling tractors and mowers and furniture and all of this stuff. It's just top notch quality stuff. We're even selling a baby grand piano. We hadn't sold. I can count on one hand the baby grand pianos we've sold, and it's just a beautiful. Even if you don't play a piano, it's just a beautiful piece of furniture.
Well, this is a beautiful place, and I was looking here. 10 acres, so that's a baby farm.
That is, and you don't get an opportunity to buy a 10-acre tract. I mean, that's a good sized tract in that part of town. Yeah. Out there, it's right in located right between Mount Juliet and Lebanon, so it's just in a great location.
All right, and then the auction will start. The auction of this house in the 10 acres. Will that be at 10?
We'll start with personal property at 10 o'clock, and then we'll sell probably till 11 or 12, and we'll sell the real estate at 12. Okay. And then we'll continue on with the personal property.
Well, maybe give a little while to draw a crowd there.
That's right. We give some folks give you some time to look before the auction starts if you're interested in real estate.
All right. Well, you're pretty booked up as far as auctions go. But if somebody wants to have one, you're going to do your best to find them a time.
We've got some time. I mean, now's the time if you're thinking about having an auction and you want to get in before the first of the year. It's a good time to start thinking about that. We've got some dates left. We've got plenty of good dates to conduct an auction. But if you're thinking about having one between now and the end of the year to get things together, it's time to. It's time to come in and get things started.
All right, and call 615-444-0909, and somebody's going to take care of it.
That's right. Correct.
It might even be Helene Cash.
You never know who you'll speak to. It might be me.
What else you got for us today?
Well, we are still in the fair. We have through this weekend, but Coleman, I hear that MJ is going to be out at the fair tonight. And then today, if you come out to the fair, it's $2 off gate admission. If you come out to the expo center, you're going to see me out there with the adult competition items. Right. So it's my night to volunteer because at A.G. and Johnson, Jay might not be spending as much time out there, but I'm going to tell you, I'm spending time out there between us volunteering, us supporting, us contributing. We've been out there a lot. But today, it's Tennessee Department of Ag Day at the fair. So buildings and carnival rides open at 5 p.m. Hypnotist Corey's out there. It's open dairy cattle show. It's open breeding sheep show. It's doll parade pageant division 3. It's battery toy ride. It's pedal push pull ride toys. Read and win. Old time spelling bee competition. School spirit jam and 4-wheeler rodeo. There's so much going on out there. You want to come out. Weather's great. Crowds have been perfect. It's a fabulous time at the fair. Right. I mean, it happens once a year. Why not be there every day?
Well, I will be in the Turner Evans
So
building.
We'll come visit you too.
People tonight.
All 95 counties.
That's right.
experience them all.
All right. Well, it's something for everybody there, of course. And Jay, once again, this is a big auction.
It really is. It really is. There's lots of things there. We'll be there all day. I didn't plan to do anything else on Saturday, so I'm gonna be there all day. But it is a big sale. I mean, we've got lots of items and a lot of great items to sell on Saturday. We
all
really
right.
do.
Thank you all for being with us. We'll see you next Thursday. And remind everybody, A.G. and Johnson Realty and Auction, 728 West Main, 615-444-0909, and that website, www.agandjohnson.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coleman.
Thanks,
all right,
Coleman.
I have invited Tommy Bryan to be my guest, and he is here this morning. We're going to be talking about probably what he loves most, other than his wife and family, maybe, is Lebanon High football.
Depends on the day, basically. But
good morning.
Particularly with my kids. Good to see you, Coleman. Always fun to be out here. And I'm glad I didn't take that seat because I don't know a whole lot about technical equipment, but that mic doesn't have a wire to it.
Well,
so.
we are aware of that, but thanks for your observation.
Well,
the idea is we only have room on the board in there, I think, or the way it's set up now, for 3 mics plus mine, and one of them has to stay by the phone here. Or if we need it, we can transfer that cord over there, which we do sometimes, like yesterday. But and speaking of yesterday, boy, we got it going with Coach Gentry and Jeff Gannon and the gentleman from Middle Tennessee Electric. The big tailgate coming up tomorrow night. But you're here today to talk about the big ball game and what you've been doing for all these years and doing the play-by-play of Lebanon High football.
Well, Terry Stafford and I, who says hello to you. He
Terry.
says he doesn't get up this early. Terry and I have been doing games since 1986. Ed Shealy's last year as head coach at Lebanon High. And Ed, Mark Medley, Bob Dillard, Ron Marshall, Bobby Brown, Troy Crane, Sam Harp, and now Chuck Gentry, 8 head coaches during that time, and probably 12 principals. That's what it's what comes to mind.
We won't ask you to name all the principals, but
But,
you remember everyone in order, the football coaches.
Well, I can't tell you how much money's in my checking account, but things like that I can go through. But it's
well,
been
Coach Gentry, I mentioned you yesterday towards the end, and he says he is a true Blue Devil.
Well, I went to school there, played there. Last night at my coach's show that I have on Wednesday nights at Town Square Social upstairs, there were about 8 former Blue Devil football players, teammates of mine, who were up there for the show, and they had a big meal and took part and raised Cane coming in and out of commercial breaks and that sort of thing. It's a Facebook Live show I call Coach's Night Out, and they turned out had a good time to visit with Coach Gentry and Tim Mathis from Cumberland and John McNeil from Friendship Christian, and that show will be replayed on my Twitter feed sometime today at TB Sports 85, TB Sports 85, and all of our Main Street media platforms, Main Street Preps, the Wilson Post. My brother Tick has a Facebook page, Blue Devil Broadcasting, and then it's going to go on all these other Main Street platforms that we have now. Coleman, they're big on YouTube with some of our shows, a Roku, Fire Stick, all this kind of stuff. So we have several shows in the company that go up on that. So that's programming. So you just have to check Main Street Media of Tennessee and find out where to find some of that stuff. It boggles my mind, some of the things that we're doing. We got 15 newspapers now and 17 websites in the company.
Man. Well, technology passed me by a long time ago. I probably have to have some help. But
I'm with you.
Last year, I interviewed Coach Gentry, and when we got through, he was on the second half like you are today, and we had a little time to talk before he had to leave. And he kind of went through each team he was going to play and sort of made a prediction. And he was just about right on. and there was a couple of them he might have been wondering about that they won. I don't think he was thinking they was going to lose to Wilson Central last year, and that's still a sore spot, I think. But he knew what he had, or seemed to. He didn't. Yesterday, I asked him on the air, and he says, "Well, we were off the air last year," which is true. But the indication he gave me yesterday, Lebanon's pretty loaded.
Well, you look at what they got coming back, Coleman. They got 15 starters back from last year's team that won more games in a single season than a Lebanon team has ever done, and they've been playing football for a long time at Lebanon High. They go 11-2, had a 10-game winning streak. Lost to Oakland in the quarterfinals. The eventual state champ, Oakland, lost to them in the quarterfinals. Only the second time Lebanon's been to the quarterfinals of the state playoffs. And the guys they've got coming back are all difference makers. 2 offensive tackles are both going to go to college and play football. Eli Freeman has already committed to Ball State of the Mid-American Conference. Aiden Donald, who plays the right tackle, has got offers. He's narrowed it down to 6 schools, including University of South Florida, who is a very good football program. And he's a kid who's a basketball-type kid playing offensive tackle who could probably put on 30 pounds on his frame once he gets into college. And he's got good feet and great hands and can move. The defensive line, all 3 starters are back from last year. Jack Kleinard, Bryson Jackson, DeMonte Cook, 3 guys who kind of control the line of scrimmage defensively. Connor Gannon plays a linebacker spot. Gavin Tomlinson, a linebacker. They've got 6 guys to play 4 spots in the secondary. So they're deep in the secondary. Offensively, Jalen Abston is statistically the best quarterback that's ever played at Lebanon. Now, I know that's going to raise a lot of cane with folks, but he's already thrown for well over 3,600 yards in his career. Last year, he threw for over 2,000 yards, and Terry Stafford has kept stats since 1986. Nobody kept real stats before that and maintained them and kept them where you could find them. Anthony Crowell, the little slot receiver, kick returner, defensive back, he had over 2,000 yards total yardage last year, and that does not include 3 interceptions that he ran back for touchdowns. One was a 60-something yarder against Mount Juliet, and one was a long one against Lincoln County that he ran back. But he averaged about 11.5 yards every time he touched the football. So, he's dynamic. He's the kid that scored 4 touchdowns in the first quarter of the Antioch game. Ran the opening kickoff back 88 yards, caught 2 touchdown passes, and then was in the secondary and intercepted a pass and took it back 45. And as it happened, his brother recovered a block punt and ran it in. So the Crowell boys had all the points in the first quarter, and Lebanon's out 35-0, and Antioch's head is spinning. And then that was the end of the first quarter.
Well, we've got to take a break right here. Tommy Bryan with the Wilson Post and our play-by-play for Lebanon High football is with us this morning. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And at 7:47, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford, and they've got the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. $49.95 up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal, tire rotation, safety check too. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Morning, I'm looking at a crash over here on 40 eastbound at 46th Avenue. That's got it slow between Briley and 46 coming in from the west side. Still on the scene of a nasty wreck south of Nashville down in Spring Hill at 65 northbound, but it's got traffic slow north and south on 65 at 840. Give yourself extra time down in the Spring Hill area this morning in both directions. It is crazy slow. With a huge demand for dental assistants, Dental Staff School can train you. Log on to dentalstaffschool.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hey, this is Paul at Bates Ford. We got some great things going on for you. If you got a vehicle you want to sell, bring it to Bates Ford. We'll give you a cash offer on the spot. Also, come check out our great used inventory. And on the service side, we got the cheapest oil change in town, got the cheapest batteries in town, and we'll meet or beat anybody's price on tires. Come visit us at Bates Ford, 1673 West Main, or visit us on the web at www.tonybatesford.com. That's Bates Ford, the dealer will trade for anything that don't eat.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
Hi, everybody. Tommy Bryan. Join me along with Terry Stafford, Bob Lee, and Joe Gardner as we bring you Lebanon High School football. Brought to you by Bates Ford, Bakes and Hooker, K. Maynard Insurance, Lebanon Police Chief Mike Justice, Wilson County Sheriff Robert Bryan, Kenny Salas, Sports World, and Wilson Bank and Trust. The Blue Devils will play host to rival Wilson Central in the home opener Friday at 6:30 on WANT and WCOR.
It's all about taking care of you, and THW Insurance will do just that. Are you looking for home or auto insurance? THW represents Westfield Insurance and other fine companies. Together, they will protect you and your family. Call Carl Ragland at 615-443-6530 or stop in and see him at Wilson Bank and Trust, 623 West Main Street in Lebanon.
And again, good morning. Welcome to our final segment here on a Thursday morning. Tommy Bryan, Wilson host, and our play-by-play guy for Lebanon football. All these years, you've done the games right here on our radio station, haven't you?
Since '86, started working with Clyde Harville, and Terry Stafford came on board with me that first year. Ed Shealy's last year as head coach at Lebanon, and then we were there throughout, the Medley years. It was just an incredible time.
Well, now that was BS before Susie.
Right.
93.
I thought you were making an editorial comment.
93 on it's been with WANT.
Yeah.
But you precede WANT.
Right. That's when you had to have alligator clips on a telephone hookup and go in and hot wire a phone box at the ball game. I know 3 or 4 different ways to cheat the phone company. Haven't done that.
Let's talk about Wilson Central.
Good football program. Brad Debin has. They are a blue collar football team. They live and die with that work ethic. They play what I call a 50 defense. Some people call it a 3-4. They try to keep everything in front of them and make you go back to the huddle and snap it again. Let you get, you're going to get 4 yards, 5 yards, but that's all you're going to get. And then make you go back and snap it again. Offensively, they are a wing tee, heavy run football team. They're going to grind it out. They want to try to shorten the football game. They play to their strengths, and they're very good at that. They had a close football game last week that they lost 16-14. They're going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder, and they have defeated Lebanon each of the last 3 years. All those games have been close, and Chuck Gentry has been pulling out what little hair he has, trying to figure out a way. What are we doing wrong? And it ought to be a really good football game.
All right, and then the big tailgate party starting at 5 o'clock. We talked about that yesterday, but we can mention it, and hopefully there's going to be some money to come from this for new lockers.
The tailgate party starts at 5 o'clock. Jeff Gannon has organized that. There'll be music. The band will come by, the cheerleaders. There'll be food, hamburgers, hot dogs, those grilled cheese sandwiches Middle Tennessee Electric puts together. You don't have to pay to eat.
Right.
They would really appreciate a donation, and all proceeds. They're going to be selling some T-shirts too. Everything goes toward the new lockers, renovating the locker room. They have got some long-term plans to try to segregate the ninth graders from the varsity, because you'll have a 14-year-old 14-year-old ninth grader in the locker room and an 18-year-old senior, and one guy with a rat tail in there playing around, and somebody gets that on video. Now you got an incident, and they've been very fortunate to try to keep those guys segregated as best you can in a big open locker room. But the plan is to try to do some different things and let the ninth graders have their own place. That's what happens when architects don't consult anyone who's ever had a whistle around their neck when they build these things. Again, people have heard me bark about this. The worst sight lines that we have to do a football game is at Lebanon High's Tribble Field, Watkins Stadium, because the stadium sits so low. The first 4 rows of the bleachers, you can't see over the players. So you have to sit up higher, and our perch in the press box, it's tough to see the hash marks on the near sideline to spot the football. So, again, they never consulted anybody who'd ever broadcast a game, which I'm not saying you got to go talk to me when you build a stadium, but Watertown High did it right. Yeah. Watertown was built after Central, after Mount Juliet, after Lebanon, and Jeff Luttrell was the principal over there at the time, and they made sure that layout was the way it needed to be. It's elevated. There's a slight forward pitch to the press box. Sight lines are incredible. They really did it the right way.
I want to ask you something here. You're a Blue Devil through and through, and we all know that. We read your column or hear you or whatever, and you have been pretty close, I think, to the football coaches. You and Coach Gentry, I think, are pretty close. What do you attribute to his success? I know when he came here and applied for the job, you told me about how I think he brought him a notebook and had a plan. Maybe he presented, this is how I would want to do. He seems to be very thorough, but you know him pretty well. Talk about that.
Chuck is a hardworking, blue-collar guy, and the kids love him and will fight for him. He takes care of those players. Lebanon has a different demographic from any school in the county in that there's a couple of government housing projects that serve Lebanon High School. Some of our kids don't eat well when they go home. Chuck makes sure, with the help of Darren Reynolds, who organizes the team meals for the Blue Devil Football Foundation, they eat a Thursday team meal, varsity, and they eat a Friday team meal. Sadly to say, school lunch isn't what it used to be. Sometimes our guys who are on free lunch will look at it and go, hey, I'm not going to eat that. And Chuck says, I can't bark at a kid for jumping off sides in practice or blowing an assignment if I can hear his stomach growling. And there's a food pantry that folks like Benny Nolan at Joseph Storehouse, and there's a bread guy in town. And some of the churches have donated to this. Jason Mull is one who comes to mind. There's a pantry in the coach's office with Eat-A Snacks and Beanie Weenies and a little pop top of macaroni and cheese, peanut butter. There's a bread guy who brings bread that's almost out of date, puts it in there, and we got big old jars of peanut butter. And any of the kids can come in there before, after a workout, go in there and get them something to eat. Our trainer, Jacob Woodard, put together a deal with a doctor's office physician. I've gone blank on the name of it, and I apologize for that. But they have footed the bill so that Shop Springs Creamery provides chocolate milk in a cooler for our kids. High protein, tastes good. So after a workout, every Monday or Tuesday, there's a big cooler full of these pint jars of chocolate milk, plastic bottles, and they hit that hard. The kids know that Coach Gentry and his staff are kind of feeding their personal needs, and they know he cares about them. And make sure, hey, you're hungry, you go in there and grab you something, a power bar, a snack of some kind. And it shows that the players have responded for him. And Chuck has taken this program from a spot where they weren't very good and didn't have a lot of kids playing. And now, all told, there's 60-something freshmen. There's 89 or 90 on the varsity.
152, I think he said
Yeah,
yesterday.
all told. And, helmets are $350 a pop these days. So it takes a lot of money to outfit a football player. And that's why this tailgate party and some of the other things they do, they have a lift-a-thon to try to supplement it. And those lockers, again, they didn't consult anybody who'd ever had a whistle around their neck when they put those big wooden lockers in there. And they look great, but they smell. They absorb all that moisture.
Yeah.
And there's a funk in there that there's fans blowing, and they got this Germatox spray. They're doing everything they can do, but they got to get metal lockers.
Got to close it out here. We've got a minute to go. Talk about your broadcast and everything coming up tomorrow.
We go on the air at 6:30, and I'm fortunate to work with an outstanding crew. Terry Stafford's been with me in our 37th year, handles all the stats. Bob Lee, former Lebanon quarterback, is my color commentator, and Joe Gardner, who played in the slot for Mark Medley, is also the head football coach at Baird Middle School, and they're having an undefeated season. He's our sideline reporter with a wireless mic. So we have what I consider to be an outstanding crew bringing the football games to us. WANT 98.9, WCOR 1490, WANTFM.com. Live starting at 6:30 with our pregame show. Kickoff at 7. Tune in if you can't be there, but hey, be there.
The 1-0 Lebanon Blue Devils take on Wilson Central, their first home game, first of 3, I believe.
First of 3 in a row, yeah.
Okay, Tommy, thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate your insight and appreciate your friendship as well. Thanks.
Always fun, Coleman. Thank you.
That's it for a Thursday. Please join us tomorrow. Until then, I wish you a tremendous day.